Were you able to, did you watch my last fight?
I did.
I would love,
I did.
I would love to know what you thought of it.
I think, so this is my honest opinion. I think what we talked about, and I think a lot of people said this, and this is what I tell people. You are still in the stage of understanding how to fight, right? Like we could both agree on that, correct?
Yep.
Right? And there's nothing wrong with that. The hardest thing that people, there's two sides of this, right? You're at the first side is that you're at a point where you're still trying to understand how to fight. You know how to fight, but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Like understand, like, okay, this guy's a grappler. He's trying to stay away from me. So I can't shoot. I can throw body kicks. He isn't engaging. How do I force him to engage? Okay, you know what? I'm going to go 1-1-2, come across that void, and I'm going to force a clinch game. And then he's either going to fight me in the clinch or he's going to shoot a double leg on me, try to take the fight to the ground. When he does that, I'm going to fucking wizard, take his back. That's what I mean by understanding fighting, right? You have to go through that journey to do it. Okay? You're doing, now this is where people give you the bad slack, where people expect more of you, is you're learning how to fight at the highest level right now. You're learning how to fight at the UFC, where you're supposed to have that growing period as an amateur, but your amateur days, you spin it wrestling in high school and college, right? So you went from the highest level of wrestling into mixed martial arts, and you had so much success knocking people out grapple them. Then when you run into a grappler like Craig Jones, was it right?
Paul Craig.
Excuse me. Paul Craig Jones. Paul Craig. You run into Paul Craig, he's more savvy. He knows where you want to be and be successful. So it wasn't that the fight was bad, is that you're still learning how to fight at a higher level, where the fans expect you to already know how to fight and not make mistakes, but take the fight to where you need to be successful, right? So it wasn't a bad fight. It's just you're still learning how to fight.
Right. No, that makes perfect sense. I feel like, I look at it really only positive, right? I think it's, I come to that fight 6-0, 6 finishes. I went to the second round one time, but like my average fight time is like 45 seconds, in my first 6 fights. So I came in, and you can go look back at interviews and stuff from fight week, and I was like, I'm totally fine to win a decision in this fight because I'm exactly as you said. I'm learning how to fight, and I want to get experience. And fighting a guy like Paul Craig, like he's finished multiple title contenders, title challengers at 205 pounds, right? Like he's not he's got 30 pro fights. Like he's a dangerous guy. So I feel like for me to go in and be able to fight 15 minutes, control him on the feet, I never really got hit with anything significant. I felt like it was a massive impact for my development. Yeah, it's massive step up in competition, and it was like just massively important for my development and learning how to fight and getting better. And yeah, it would have been great if I'd go in there and knock him out in 45 seconds again, but it would have been awesome. Yeah, I've been happy with it, but that's not really going to help me in my, 5th, 6th, 7th title defense. Like that's not really something that is going to pay dividends down the line. Whereas getting 15 minutes sold out at Madison Square Garden against a 35 veteran, like that's going to pay dividends. And so, there's a lot of things I could have done better, of course, right? Like I can look at the technique, and I can be very critical of myself. I think the things that I did well. I just want to continue to double down on those and do them more. Obviously, using my wrestling more with a different matchup, like probably makes more sense. I think that people talk about, I didn't want to take him down. It's like, why would I put the guy in his best? The only chance this guy has to beat me is if he catches me in a triangle. So obviously I'm not just going to jump into his guard. Like, let's be real here. He finished Magomed Ankalaev with 4 minutes, 59 seconds into round 3. So he's dangerous.
Submitted Jamal Hill.
Yeah, like submitted Jamal Hill. Submitted Nikita Krylov. That's 3 top 5 205ers right there.
Yep. And that's a thing, right? When you look at this as like I said, I look at it as an unbiased opinion. I don't care if you win or you lose, right? I don't have any skin in the game, da-da-da-da. I look at it as a martial artist, what I'm looking at. And that's why I told my producer, I was like, you have to understand, like, people would say, man, that fight fucking sucked. Da, da, da. And I was like, guys, look at it this way. He is still learning how to fight. And people are like, well, this isn't a level for him to know how to fight, right? Like that learning period should have been done as an amateur. That's what I would say if people are bitching and complaining, right? So, but
I would have loved to have learned as an amateur.
Exactly.
It'd been great.
Bo Nickal doesn't get that opportunity.
No.
You don't get that opportunity, right? So from now on, each time you fight, you're under a magnifying glass because you're 7-0, and they're like, hey, what does this guy got? What's the best tech? What's the how far can we push him? And here's a great example. I would say, of stepping up in tiers. When Hamzat came on the scene, he never fought anybody, right? He was beating everybody super fast, picking him up, slamming him out, slamming him down, right? Once he fought Gilbert Burns and they had that banger back and forth, that was him. That fight right there shown that he's ready for a championship fight. Like he's ready to fight a champion because I feel you got to have those fights where, and I've had them too. When I was an amateur, there were some fights where it was a fucking war. We're just going back and forth. Like this motherfucker, I'm not, is that all you got, motherfucker? Like, you got to have some of those fights because when you get to that next level and you're fighting the best of the world. When I fought John Dodson, he hit me, he dropped me so many times. I got him like, that's all you got? Huh? Just get started. Let's see what you got, little. You're going to have those fights. You just haven't had them yet, and you haven't had the right opportunity or the right opponent to put you in that position. But you fight in Paul Craig, where I can't take him down, which is my best attribute in my game right now. How are my hands going to look? How's my kickboxing? How's my rhythm? How's my, right? Because you're going to run into someone who's like, we can't let Bo Nickal take us down, right? But then that's where you got to use your strategies. Like, okay, I can't take him down, but I'm going to use my double leg, my duck walk to cross that void. And then I'm going to get that body lock. Then I might try to, suplex him, or I might go to the clinch. So you start to, and that's where you're going to start developing your skills, your game to a different level, because you're going to start using your wrestling, not just to take them down, but to get to a position where you're going to be successful on the feet or in the clinch.
Got it. No, that's I think definitely an important part for my next development. The next sequence of development that I'm going to try to make is just continuing to blend it all together and then really develop the clinch game. Because I have like very strong Greco wrestling. Like I grew up wrestling Greco-Roman for, my whole childhood and stuff. But when you can throw knees and elbows and stuff like that, it's obviously very different. But I feel like really in control there, but I don't really get offensive there as much as I would like to. So I want to start working on that. And I see you're a guy that I look at that has a really, you've got a lot of finishes from there. So it's like that I can see the importance of that skill.
Yeah. And if I give you any advice when you go back to the gym and start training, always throw body. Like, for example, when's the last time I took you down?
Somebody took me down?
Yeah, you.
September 09.
Yeah. The last time I've been taken down in training, I get taken down once in a while at Penn State, like when I'm out here, like once in every few months or so.
But in a sparring match, when's the last time somebody took you down?
I actually got taken down in this last camp by a Brazilian guy. Yeah.
Okay. So use that. Like what I would do is like, if I know, because now my game is all based on, at the end of my career, is all based on somebody making a bad decision, making a bad move, right? And you can't force somebody's hand to make a bad decision if you don't fight them, meaning that if you don't give them something to make a bad decision. So one of the things that I would do all the time is I would throw body kicks, like kicks, because they have choices. They can catch the body kick,
right,
and try to take me down. Once they do that, what do? They come into my wheelhouse, which is the clinch game and the wrestling game, which I feel pretty good at.
Yeah. Then
there's no guessing game. We're there. So if we're here outside the void and I throw a body kick, boom, he catches it. Perfect. We're connected. I can kick and come closer, clinch and wrestle you,
right,
or you're going to shoot and try to wrestle me. Then now I have the wizard. I'm that's how you get to the fight a lot sooner for you, where I feel is going to be your hardest thing, is like the stand-up, where it's like, fuck that, body kick. Oh, you caught it? Perfect. We're wrestling now.
Right.
Like, it's almost like if somebody, you throw a body kick and they catch it, that's a perfect place for you to fight in a single leg. It's a single leg
like force the positions that I'm better at, right? So it's like, like you were saying, basically, like a guy's not going to make a mistake unless you kind of trap him, right? So it's like, how are you gonna set that up, right? Like you make him fight the way you want to fight, right?
Yep, absolutely. So that's all advice I'll give you. Just start doing some more body kicks, Dom. Again.
I'll add that in. I like it. No, it works pretty good too, because I'm southpaw, so I fight a lot of orthodox fighters. So
you get 3 body kicks all day. That's all you should be throwing. It's like, and that's the only thing I tell people. I was like, dude, and that's what I learned from Matt. Matt was like, of course he's gonna punch you. His hands aren't busy. Like you throw a body kick, if you have that opposite stance, that body kick, and you always outside the lead leg, and you turn them, you go inside body. Like that's like, yeah, man.
I like it.
Yeah, one day when I come out there, and if we ever get a chance to work together, like I'll show you some shit where, dude. And that's the thing too. Like we always talk about, like when we talked about earlier in, your career right now, you're an American top team. And we, talk about it. And I've never, you see these massive gyms where they have so many gyms, and there's nothing wrong with it, right? They have so many champions. They have Adriano, Alex Pantoja, Kyojo Horiguchi. They have you. They had Thiago Alves. They've had, banger after banger after banger and banger. But how many of those guys actually develop into doing something else besides their own same game, if that makes sense, right? Like where you have one coach who can just sit there and just mold you over. It's like, let me think of another person. Team Alpha Male. You had Chad Mendes, TJ Dillashaw. TJ Dillashaw didn't really start to blossom and get his own style until he went Dwayne Ludwig, where he had that, that style where he would go from southpaw to orthodox. Until you get to that one level where you have, I feel you have one coach like Bo Nickal. I'm here every single day for you. That's when you start to fucking grow, because it's like, hey, Bo Nickal, ain't nobody gonna take you down. We're not even gonna work on the wrestling. We're gonna put some rhythm in that feet, so you're on the feet and you're gonna be looking at a goddamn Thai boxer.
Right.
That's what if I was your coach, like you're gonna be a Thai boxer. You're gonna spend next 6 months just Thai wrestling and doing Muay Thai.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. No, that makes perfect sense. I feel like
we got coaches. Demetrious Johnson.
Yeah. I'm really excited for you and your family to move to State College.
Love it.
If you guys like that clip, check out the whole podcast here and make sure to hit that subscribe button.